Okay, hello everyone. I'm Jason Laird, and I've chosen to review the piece Applying the Learning Theories to Medical Education, a Commentary by Nalia and Idris. So the authors are really attempting to apply learning theories to medical education specifically. The authors explore the learning theories of behaviorism, cognitivism, and constructivism and how they've evolved over time. They look at the specific application of these learning theories and how they can function in medical education. The authors suggest a practical understanding of these theories and how best to apply them will enhance the learning of medical students. So the first of the theories that the authors review is the first that was developed, which is behaviorism. It was derived from animal experiments, if you all remember Pavlov's dogs, and then how Watson took this information in 1925 and developed a theory on human application. The theory considers the learner as a passive individual responding to outside or external stimuli, and learning is defined as a change in behavior of that individual. B.F. Skinner came along and added the concept of operant conditioning. This is where positive and negative reinforcement increase the chance of the behavior occurring again, and where punishment will decrease the chance of a behavior occurring again. The authors provide example of traditional feedback in testing and performance in medical education is behaviorism continuing today. And I have definitely had some negative reinforcement and punishment in my learning process in surgery. I'm sure some of you have had that as well. So even more behaviorism is further developed by Alfred Bender in the 1940s, when he introduced the concept of modeling, stating that people additionally observe through observing others, their behaviors, their attitudes, and the outcomes of their behaviors. The authors suggest that the learning environment of medical students provides many positive and negative examples of performance in which medical students model their behavior. All models of behaviorism suggests that the learner is passive and that the teacher provides the information to alter behavior through conditioning or modeling. Criticisms of behaviorism really focus on the fact that behaviorism ignores the individual's ability to complex think and process and aren't necessarily all passive in their ability to learn. So this is when cognitivism was introduced. People aren't simple animals responding to stimuli. We're complex beings learning through experience, and our actions are a consequence of thought. Cognitivism considers that learning involves thinking, memory, and self-reflection. And information is processed, and this is an important part of this theory. Piaget, who is famous for all of our childhood development thoughts, also introduced the concept of schemes, and that learning occurs when schemes do not match or function to process the current environment or experiences that we're going through. Next comes the further division of cognitivism, which is cognition, and this was developed by Gestalt, who proposed that both short and long-term memory play an important part in our learning process. So to skip a majority of it and jump straight to the example, the piece really goes over how we would approach an exam, such as an abdominal exam, where we would come into a room and we're expected to use our memory, our brain, and use a history and physical processing and excluding information to arrive at a diagnosis. So our memories play a role in functioning to uncover new information and learn something about our patients. And then finally is constructivism, which is what came out in our reading, and that learning is an active process in which a learner can take control of the process. New knowledge is constructed through experiences that are altered by beliefs, socioeconomic factors, culture, and language, and each learner is potentially different in the way they approach this. The concept of scaffolding is introduced, where the learner is guided through a task or learning material where they gain mastery, and then the scaffold is slowly removed for them to demonstrate knowledge and independent thinking. Example of this is how we train medical students to examine patients on healthy volunteers, moving to observing how we examine real patients to then demonstrating independent exams of actual sick patients. Constructivism is proposed to complement brain structure and functioning from a neuroscience perspective, meaning that this really matches the way that information is processed from the brain using MRI imaging in neuroscience. So what does all this mean? The authors point out that medical teaching and training use all aspects of these models. The development of 3 models shows the evolution of various aspects of learning, and all 3 are involved in the construction of medical training. Behaviorism provides early learning, but it's limited in its scope. Cognitivism adds that memory and experiences play a role. And Constructivism provides understanding of the transition to mastery and unique and individual thought. The authors attempt to develop the three main learning theories and demonstrate conclusively that they are not exclusive in their function and that they work together. All three theories are actively involved in various aspects of medical teaching and learning, and understanding of these theories will help us address various stages of learning and the needs of our students and to provide better achievement of our learning goals. And that's really all. Thank you so much for listening, and I hope you learned at least a little bit. Thank you very much.